It is 2 in the morning, and you are currently suspended in an awkward, gravity-defying posture on the far 3 inches of your own mattress, holding on for dear life while an animal that weighs 40 pounds occupies the remaining 80% of the space. Your knee is bent at an unnatural right angle, your neck is pressed against the wall, and yet, somehow, you refuse to move. Most people written into this exact late-night scenario convince themselves it is just a matter of warmth, habit, or plain old canine stubbornness. But if you think your dog ended up on your pillow tonight simply because it was comfortable, you are fundamentally misunderstanding 15,000 years of evolutionary engineering. What is happening in your bedroom right now is not clinginess, nor is it a behavioral flaw you failed to train out of them. It is a calculated, neurochemically driven decision that rewires both of your brains while you sleep, activating survival mechanisms older than human civilization itself. And once you understand the exact biological trigger that brought them to the foot of your bed tonight, you will never look at their sleeping spot the same way again. To understand why your dog needs to be near you when the lights go out, researchers at Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest decided to study canine behavior through a lens traditionally reserved for human developmental psychology. They put dogs into a testing framework known as the Ainsworth-Strange situation, a standard experiment designed to measure how human infants form bonds with their mothers. The results surprised even the researchers. Dogs do not just view you as a provider of food or a source of physical shelter. They exhibit proximity seeking, separation distress, and reunion calm in patterns that mirror human toddlers with startling precision. In fact, the study established that 61% of domestic dogs are securely attached to their primary human, which happens to be the exact same statistical ratio found in human mothers and their children. When your dog circles 3 times and collapses against your legs at night, they are not just looking for a soft surface. They are executing an instinctual drive that communicates one fundamental truth. In a vast, unpredictable world, you are the single safest entity in their entire existence. This sense of safety is driven by an invisible feedback mechanism operating at the molecular level every single day. A landmark study published in the journal Science by researchers at Asabu University in Japan unveiled the exact neurochemical loop that cements this bond. It begins with the gaze. When your dog looks into your eyes, your brain releases a surge of oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. As your oxytocin rises, your body language softens, your eyes dilate, and you look back at your dog, which triggers an immediate matching spike of oxytocin inside their own brain. To prove just how uniquely evolved this mechanism is, scientists attempted the exact same experiment with wolves, even wolves raised by hand by human caretakers from the day they opened their eyes. The loop failed entirely. The wolves never experienced the neurochemical rise. But between you and your dog, this biological circuit is so potent that just 10 minutes of physical contact before bed measurably drops cortisol levels in both species, lowering heart rates and physiologically preparing 2 entirely different bodies for deep, restorative rest. This profound chemical connection did not appear out of nowhere. It was forged through an extraordinary genetic history spanning tens of thousands of years. Long before the invention of agriculture, writing, or permanent human cities, our ancestors sat around flickering campfires surrounded by absolute darkness, listening to the shadowy silhouettes of wild carnivores moving through the trees. At a 14,000-year-old burial site in modern-day Germany, archaeologists uncovered the remains of a young dog buried alongside 2 humans, with detailed bone analysis revealing the animal had survived multiple bouts of lethal canine distemper only because its human companions nursed it through weeks of severe illness. That early compassion was matched by genetic transformation. Modern genomic studies reveal that dogs possess specific genetic insertions on chromosome 6 that wolves completely lack, modifications associated with hypersociability and an irresistible drive to seek proximity with humans. Our ancestors did not simply domesticate wild canines. We systematically reshaped their DNA until proximity to us became an evolutionary requirement for their survival. This evolutionary drive leads directly to what sleep researchers call the canine sleep paradox. Objective data gathered by the Mayo Clinic demonstrates that having a dog in your bed undeniably increases physical movement during the night, subtly disrupting standard sleep architecture. Yet, psychological surveys, including a 2024 study conducted at the University of Jyväskylä in Finland, reveal that dog owners consistently report feeling significantly more rested, secure, and peaceful when their pet sleeps beside them. The explanation lies in a phenomenon known as heart rate variability co-regulation. When a securely bonded dog rests against your body, its autonomic nervous system aligns its breathing rate and cardiovascular rhythms with yours, actively dampening your nervous system's fight-or-flight responses. An unfamiliar human or a stranger placed in the exact same proximity will actually elevate your ambient stress levels throughout the night, whereas a bonded dog acts as a living biological anchor that co-regulates your physiological stress while you dream. However, because this nightly routine is so deeply hardwired into their biology, any sudden shift in where or how your dog sleeps should be treated as an immediate red flag. If a dog that has spent years sleeping at the foot of your bed suddenly chooses to sleep in a distant room, under a table, or isolated in a hallway, it is never a random choice. Physical pain is often the primary silent culprit. Reluctance to climb onto a mattress or an inability to find a comfortable position is frequently the very first observable indicator of hidden joint deterioration, spinal pressure, or early-stage arthritis. Equally serious is cognitive decline. Roughly 35% of dogs over 8 years of age develop canine cognitive dysfunction, a condition analogous to human Alzheimer's disease that systematically dismantles their spatial memory and disrupts their internal circadian rhythm, leaving them disoriented and anxious in the dark. Paying close attention to where your dog chooses to lie down at night is one of the most effective diagnostic tools you possess for protecting their health. When you look down at your bed tonight and see your dog curled up, hogging the blankets and taking up far more room than they reasonably should, reframe that mild annoyance for what it truly is. That animal did not end up beside you by accident, nor are they simply exploiting a soft mattress. Out of every location, every scent, and every person in their world, their brain systematically selected you as their ultimate sanctuary, relying on a genetic blueprint written across 15,000 years of shared history to keep you both safe until morning. Drop a comment below and tell me, what percentage of the bed does your dog take up tonight? And if you want to understand the rest of their hidden communication, the way your dog looks into your eyes right before they fall asleep triggers a neurochemical phenomenon even more mind-bending than what happens while they dream.